Hey guys, this is Eric from Mindful Trader. This video is about the education that I provide for trading stocks. Before we dive into that, let's take a moment and point out the disclaimer here. If you pause your video and type this into your web browser, you'll be able to read my full disclaimer. And it talks about what exactly Mindful Trader is and about what the limitations are of the service I provide. I would say it's important to understand that before you watch this video and certainly before you sign up for the service. So let's dig into stocks. So why would you want to learn how I go about trading stocks? The reason is because I've done a ton of research. I've spent a lot of resources, both money and time, to do stock market research. I researched pricing tendencies, patterns. I'm looking for things that repeatedly show an opportunity to make a profit. And I've studied this for several years. And with stocks in particular, there is one trading strategy that I found that I love, that I personally rely on in my own account, and that I happily share with others because I think it's so robust. And it's funny because it took me a really long time to arrive at this strategy. Like, I went through so many iterations of other types of testing and research, and yet the trading strategy that I have here, what it all culminated in, is something very simple. And it's another reason I like sharing it, because it's powerful. It's so simple, and yet it has all this repeated success in the hypothetical back tests, in the research environment. So I think that's exciting. I think that's something, at least for me, if I had heard about this, years ago when I first got into the stock market and I was able to see, the evidence of the back tested success, this could have, just made things so much easier for me in the beginning. And that's why I feel excitement about sharing it. I feel like this one stock trading strategy alone is enough to have a really fruitful trading career, or just to have profitable trading for the long term, for those who choose to adopt it and stick to it. You never can guarantee the future. Nobody knows what the future holds. But for me, if I'm going to trade a particular strategy, if I want to do any sort of particular type of trading, I want to do something where I know when you look back at history, there are signs of repeated success. And that's what I have in this trading strategy. It's my favorite trading strategy of all the ones that I have, and it's the only one I use for stocks in particular. So with Mindful Trader, I post stock picks, but you also can kind of dig deeper if you want. If you just want to follow my stock picks, no problem. You can just follow my stock picks, and then you're not investing much time, and all you're doing is kind of looking at what I trade, deciding if you like it, and following me if you want to. If you want to dig deeper though, if you want more, if you want to learn this stuff yourself to the point where you're not even reliant on my picks anymore, and you can do it on your own, I also provide that through this service. So in fact, I'm gonna pull it up right now and just start walking you through it. This is the Mindful Trader website. I'm gonna click the My Account button. If you were already subscribed, this is where you would go to the login section for subscribers. And as you can see, there's the live trading section. I post my stock picks themselves in this live positions link. I also have a watch list link. There's a getting started area, and then down here is the stock education area. And this is where you would go to learn more about how I go about trading stocks and what my strategy is for it. And so I have a link here. This is the key one. This is the one where all my years of research culminated in this one strategy, and this link right here is what takes you to that. And so that to me, that is a very powerful video. Then I have here a list of my favorite stocks. So I take this strategy and I've tested it against all sorts of stocks. And so it's a good, strong strategy, even if you trade stocks that aren't necessarily my favorites. But there's a particular kind of group of stocks that are my very favorite ones to trade. And it's about 500 stocks or so. And it's mainly like really big, well-known companies. Those are the ones that I like to trade the most. So this is just a list of them in case that's helpful to you. There's particular indicators I like to use. Keltner channels and ATR are a couple of those. So I have information about that here. I have information about, whether you would do trades that overlap earnings or not. And in that same section, I also talk about dividends and how that might play a role in your trading decisions. All right, and the other thing is using discretion. So with my trades, I'm very rules oriented. And the reason I do this is because when I did my stock market research, I did it largely in the form of doing these back tests. And to do a back test, to simulate a particular trading strategy and see how it could have performed historically, I have to write very specific rules. I have to write an algorithm. And so, to have actual code dictating the strategy, you can imagine it's very specific. It's rules based, and that's why my trading is rules based. That said, I do have to use discretion at times. And there's an example. Let's say that there's a number of stocks all setting up for this trading strategy at once, and I don't have the buying power to buy them all. That gives me an opportunity to use some discretion. Okay, they all might meet this trading strategy criteria. Which one am I going to pick among them? And that's an example of some discretion. So I talk about that. I don't use very much discretion. Again, I'm very rules oriented. And it's one of the things that I think is so awesome about my trading approach is that you don't really have to know anything. You don't have to use some sort of trader's intuition or something to be good at this. You simply have to learn the rules and execute them if you want to do what I'm doing with these stock trades. So that's what this unit here does. This gives you all that information. Okay, this will educate you. What is the strategy? How do you set it up in your platform so that you can see it, so you can notice it, and that sort of thing. Now, after you feel like you've got that foundation, the watch list I think is another great educational tool. And I'm going to go in here now, and this will show you, I'm going to maximize the screen here. This shows you all the stocks that are on my watch list. So literally, these are the tickers that in my own trading platform are on my watch list. And each night I go in, I look at all the stocks that are my favorite stocks, and I see which of them is setting up for the trading criteria, for the trade strategy that I use. What's great about this is you're able to see what I'm watching, and you're able to validate that it matches the stock trading strategy that I teach. So in other words, you can go type this ticker into your platform and you can kind of see for yourself, oh yeah, this is matching those conditions that Eric taught for the trading strategy, and he's indicating the potential entry, and that matches exactly how he said he would calculate it. And in other words, it kind of deepens your understanding. It gives you repetitions of seeing different stocks in real live action and why they're on my radar, why they're on my watch list. And after you've done this a number of times, you will start to develop your own trained eye for what to look for. You'll be able to look at a stock chart like this and be able to just know, yeah, this meets that criteria. You won't need me, in other words, to confirm it after enough of these repetitions. You'll just know this meets the back-tested trading criteria. So, again, initially it will take some time to make sure you understand all the details, but after you've got it down, it will be so easy. Literally for me, I look at it and within a second, I already know this thing is good to go. I can trade this thing. There's another cool thing about the watch list, which is that it's like it gives you advance notice on which stocks I'm going to trade. So before I even post my stock picks, you are already seeing the stocks I'm considering. So people who simply follow my stock picks, that's no problem. All they do is simply follow the stock picks. They look at my pick and then they decide if they want to trade it, and they trade it. It doesn't require much time. But there's some level of lag that they have to deal with. If they don't see my stock pick right away or can't trade it right away, then there's some level of lag. Now, honestly, it's probably not that big of a deal that there's a lag, to be honest. But if you don't like the idea of there being a lag, this gives you a way to be right on top of these trades. I mean, the trades that I post, the trades that I do in my, that I actually trade in my live account, they come off the watch list the huge majority of time because this is my real watch list. This is where I'm getting my trades from. So you'll see that happen time and time again, where it was on my watch list and then it's on my picks list. And in other words, you have every opportunity to trade it right at the same exact time as I do. Like, you don't need to wait for my pick. You already know which ones I'm watching, and you can set up your entry accordingly. So it's a pretty good deal. I mean, this helps you learn, and it allows you to get into these trades with no delay if you wanted. So the watch list, I think, is quite a valuable tool. And I want to point out really fast, there's a column here for options info. That's not required. If all you want to do is learn to trade stocks, you can just disregard the options info. That's just available for people who are looking to trade options on these same trades, basically. One other thing I want to point out is I typically only do 2 stock trades maximum per day. So the reason is because I try to manage my buying power, and that allows me to kind of spread my buying power out and diversify. You might choose to do something different. You might want to get into more than 2 positions, or you might want to get into positions that are different than the ones I got into. Let's say I got into a position for a bank stock, and let's say you, for whatever reason, you just don't want to own a bank stock. You're not optimistic about it, or you have some sort of intuition that's telling you you don't want to do that. You can pick a different stock that's setting up. Any stock on the watch list that meets this trade criteria that I teach, I would happily get into personally. So you can kind of use it whatever way you want. These are all trades that are coming right out of the back test. So they're all ones that are green light as far as I'm concerned, as long as they meet the potential entry price. So you can therefore have more say over what you do. You can go in and pick different stocks or trade more stocks that meet the criteria. It's really up to you. And so if your goal is to learn the strategy, you have even more tools at your disposal here to give you choices and let you make your own decision what you want to trade. Okay, I hope that helps. If you have any questions about this service in any way, just email me anytime. It's Eric, ERIC, at mindfultrader.com. Thanks so much, guys.